All right. So, hey, folks. So, welcome to the Snap or Tap MMA podcast. So, this is technically our very first episode. So, we're a bit rusty with the whole MMA podcast format, but hey, what the hell? This is how we start things. And I'm Ujjwal, and I have Abhishek with me, Saeed, and Ricardo. I'll let you guys talk a bit because people won't know who is who. So, Abhishek, man, let's
Yeah,
go for it.
my name is Abhishek. I go by the name Ninja Nambi on Instagram. And I've been following martial arts for a while now, UFC for a while now. And it's great that we're doing this thing. Definitely.
Finally, right? Yeah.
Cool. Finally, yeah, it's cool that we started this.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah,
Saeed,
so
bro.
I'll introduce myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my name's Syed Adim Kareem. I go by the name of Bonbon KZ. That's like on Facebook. Long story behind that. I won't get into that today. My first actually memory of MMA are a couple of things. One is Anderson Silva getting knocked out by Chris Weidman. He was showboating and all. And the other one
Yeah.
was Ronda Rousey getting knocked out by Holly Holm. And
Yeah.
the funny thing is that there was this meme that went viral during that time on Twitter where people were sharing Ronda Rousey reacts to loss to Holly Holm. Once you forwarded that meme, right? I don't know if you saw it or not. The sound was some NSFW screaming of Ronda Rousey or something else. So I
Yeah.
forwarded this to a lot of my friends, and they got really upset with it.
I mean, of course. Uh,
So
I mean,
I'm
yeah.
Ricardo, and my first memory, when it comes to MMA at least, is browsing forums online and seeing a weird topic. Someone was talking about Bruce Lee versus Fedor, and someone was talking about how Fedor's punching technique is terrible. It sucks. And so who's Fedor? And I just went down a rabbit hole, and it's just been MMA ever since. Before that, I've been into martial arts for years. I did karate, taekwondo. Both are useless, but the black belts are here.
Oh, I was into karate myself, Ricardo.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
pretty
nice.
useless. It's pretty useless.
Hello, which
It's
dojo?
pretty-
I think this is the perfect segue. So my introduction to MMA was because I was really into karate, right? And I mean, Abhishek should know. So
Yeah,
never
yeah.
used to be a structure for it. So like your style will have nationals, but it's not really structured. So it's a
They
like
would just hand around belts like this.
exactly, and the competition level is like quite low. So I used to think I'm a
Yeah.
badass because I had won some national championships and stuff. And then one of my cousins who actually used to wrestle one day like freaking manhandled me one day. So then I realized like, okay, this is not gonna work. So yeah, then discovered MMA and like whatnot. But
It's
now,
actually what happened with me as well. So the
oh
way I discovered MMA was, so I had a friend back in school days. So his dad used to work in Japan, and he used to get all these Hollywood movie CDs and everything. And when his dad wasn't home, he would just pop it in and watch one movie every day. And there was this one CD called Pride, and we just popped it in. And the first fight that we watched was Nick Diaz versus Takanori Gomi, and we were just blown, like the level of technicality and ground game and everything that we had never seen. I mean, I thought karate is like the ultimate martial art form, and then
yeah,
I witnessed Nick Diaz sink in that go-go plata, and I was like, this is insane.
dude, how fortunate are you? Like the first fight you
The first
watched was
fight I saw
that.
that was Nick Diaz, and I've been a fan forever.
Damn.
That's pretty sexy.
Yeah, that is actually amazing. So now let's get into some interesting stuff, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
some stuff have transpired the past week. This is the first topic actually, like Saeed suggested. Saeed, do you think the showboating was a little too much? Pereira's this thing.
It's interesting you say that because if I was Magomed, right, and I
Yeah,
saw Alex Pereira doing what he's doing, right,
yeah,
I would
yeah,
have gotten up and just knocked him out. Like, what the fuck are you doing? But then you look at the other side, right, and then you see what all was said to Pereira by Ankalaev, at least on Twitter. He brought up the alcohol issues and how Pereira has had issues with alcoholism, and Pereira himself said that it doesn't affect me, but it affects those people who are going through this problem. So I kind of understand why Pereira did what he did. He was really upset about all this, and you saw in his performance, right? Like in 1 minute, 20 seconds? It's a light heavyweight title championship fight, and you've just blitzed your opponent. So I understand where he came from, but yeah, maybe a little too much.
If anything, I
yeah.
think he underdid it.
Oh wow!
If it was me, if I was in place of Pereira, I would have jumped the cage, gone in front of Ali Abdulaziz, and literally did the celebration in front of him. Like, this is your best fighter that you can bring against me. I mean, I think Pereira did the right thing.
Ricardo, what do you think, man? I mean, we have got both ends of the spectrum now. Now, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with Abhishek on this one because I do think that he didn't celebrate enough. Because on one hand, I understand Ali Abdelaziz talking trash through Uncle Live's account because he's trying to generate hype for the fight and to draw fan interest in his own fighter, especially when the UFC put so little effort in promoting the fight. And also taking into consideration that he's managing a fighter that doesn't speak English and frankly has no personality whatsoever. So I understand, but there's a difference, like Syed pointed out, there's a difference between talking trash and taking the lowest points of someone's life, like working at a tire shop just to survive, his past alcoholism, or even making fun of because Ankalaev or Ali actually did do this on Twitter, making fun of his indigenous heritage by calling it voodoo. So to me, there's a difference. Plus, it could have been way worse. Pereira could have pulled a Habib, scaled the cage, jumped at Ankalaev's corner, and that would have been that. So if I was Pereira, I would have been breakdancing, backflipping, whatever I can do.
Damn. All right. Hey, couldn't agree more. But dude, I was genuinely afraid of like I thought Ankalai would just blitz up and like bang him, because like he was not
Right.
out, right? He was not like he was rocked, of course. He was like dazed and
He
stuff,
was embarrassed. Yeah, he was completely embarrassed. Like
kinda.
Pereira literally put on a performance in the sense that you don't
Yeah.
belong in here with me.
Yeah.
That's the way he just went at him.
The
Yeah.
levels,
I mean, that
levels
was
to the game.
bad. That was bad.
What do
He
you?
just stepped
Yeah.
to him. He just stepped to him, and that was it. It was like watching a bully get his lunch money or
Yeah,
something.
but do you think the injury played a part in that? The injury that they're bringing up after the fight. They
Oh,
keep bringing up the rib
the
injury.
rib
They keep
injury
bringing.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man, I don't
Maybe,
know, man. Like
maybe.
maybe, but there is no shoulda, woulda, coulda in this because I mean Pereira apparently had a hand injury and like I mean he did bring up the excuse afterwards, but still, a
Yeah, yeah.
loss is a loss. People would forget it after a while, even so. Like it doesn't matter at the end of the day. But maybe it did, maybe. But then again, he got blitzed on the head, not on the rib. Okay, he got rocked on
Not
the
on the
head.
right.
So I
No,
mean, mm,
so to counter that, I was reading this on social media today. I think some
yeah,
fighter said that almost every fighter who goes into an MMA fight is
yeah,
injured somewhat or another because they have like a 6 8 month long training period. You will pick
yeah,
up injuries,
yeah,
and you only hear about the injuries once they lose. If they win, you never hear about it.
yeah.
So I think everybody is injured somehow or another, and they go into these fights. It's just that we get to hear them once they lose. And if
That is
it
true.
played a role in this, it probably might have. I don't know. It could have. Maybe he didn't have the cardio or whatever. But as you said, it's just 1 minute. He could have knocked out Pereira, right? And he could have done that also. He didn't do that. So
Yeah, the
nice.
difference between Pereira making excuses after his fight was he lost by decision, and
Yeah.
Uncle
Yeah.
making excuses is he got
There's
Yeah,
knocked out.
nothing.
I mean,
exactly.
there's no point in
Completely
making
agree.
excuses.
But how
I
does
do
one
think
do
there is
this?
something to that. I think there's something to that when you go into these fights injured, because when I used to work out regularly in the gym, when I mean workout, I mean going to train at an MMA gym. When I used to do it regularly, I started picking up just minor injuries. And over time, you almost forget what it's like to feel normal because you just get used to all these injuries.
Yeah,
And then when you stop and you let things heal up, you're like, wow, this feels different. So I think, yeah, every fighter goes into these fights with some kind of injury. I think with Ankalaev, the expectation is, oh, if you're Pereira and you just walk forward, you're gonna get knocked out because he's a pretty good counterpuncher. But I don't think anyone in MMA, not even Adesanya, anybody, I don't think anyone in MMA is such a good counterpuncher that they can just find the opening that they're not trying to draw out. Most of them are good counter punchers in the sense of, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna feint this way and throw this to draw out this specific strike that I want to counter with
yeah,
this. But when they're just forced to just be in the line of fire with chaos, They
Yeah.
they just don't know what to do. I think maybe Dustin Poirier is the only one who can do that. Like
Mhm.
when he beat Connor for the first time, but a lot of them can't. And Ankalaev really is the kind of guy that he likes to wait, study, create an opening. I also think it sucked for him that he switched to Orthodox, and that just basically was signing
Yeah.
his own death certificate.
Yeah. But he took a
Mhm.
lot of heavy leg kicks too. So I
Yeah.
don't think he had an option either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had to make that decision in that moment.
Mm. How does
Yeah,
someone
six
do
fight
this,
though.
bro? Like, how does someone do this? Like, Pereira is he's a pure striker, right? Like, he is a striker, like more than an MMA athlete. But and Clive can wrestle. He's pretty good at it. And I mean, maybe not as good as we thought he was because he couldn't get takedowns in the first fight. But still, maybe he should have shot a bit sooner, or maybe he was overconfident from the first fight. But how does someone do this? How does someone dominate UFC with just striking, just overwhelming force? It's kind of I don't know, surprising when you think about it.
Yeah, it's that touch of death that he has. But
Yeah,
I mean, even if anyone wants to penetrate his range to shoot for that takedown, especially in the opening rounds, it's like a lose-lose situation for them.
yeah, that makes
Even
sense. I
now
mean,
that people keep bringing up that Hamzat may be the fighter who can actually put on a fight against Pereira. I genuinely don't think so.
I
okay,
think it's the size there. Pereira is just too
Yeah, yeah,
big, I think.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know, but
I also don't think it's that easy
yeah,
to take him down. It might look like it because he's a kickboxer, but Yuri did it, but I don't think Pereira was expecting it. And
Yeah,
he he stands very tall, but he also he stays back by the hips in a way so that if someone shoots on him, he's in a decent position to get an underhook frame because Ankalaev did try to shoot after that right hand, but
yeah,
Pereira framed almost immediately. So I think, and DC did say when he was just tussling with him, because DC just loves going to these fighters and like testing
yeah,
their
yeah,
takedown defense.
yeah, yeah,
I DC said that Pereira felt so strong that if he just spent 2 years just wrestling, he would be insanely good just because of how physically imposing he is. And I think Ankalaev also isn't really that kind of wrestler where, oh, I don't like this at all. Let me just shoot. I also think he panicked. I don't think he was
yeah.
expecting that. Nobody was
yeah,
expecting that. I mean, it was
yeah,
immediate. I think he's like, wait, hold on. This man didn't take a single forward step against me after round one in the last fight, and now he's just stepping to me. And these fighters don't like pressure. The Dagestani fighters don't like pressure at all, except for
mm,
maybe Islam. Islam's the only one who seems to deal with it reasonably well, but they just don't like pressure. Even Habib against Connor, the first fight, the first few seconds, Connor immediately backed him up. Habib did not like that and shot for a takedown from his home country. So he did not like that at
yeah.
all.
Damn, yeah. So, guys, now when you think about it, like there was a lot of genuine bad blood going into this fight, right, between Ankalaev and Pereira. So if Pereira did pull off a beep, like Abhishek said, and jump the octagon and like whatnot, and if chaos ensued, what about the guy who had his baby with him? What do you think about that? Who in their right mind, who in their right mind would bring an infant to a UFC fight? This is not an opera where people are, doing the violin, or a tennis match where if you shout too much, the referee is like, stop, bro. This is an MMA fight, and the guy brought a freaking baby with him.
Yeah. No, so to answer that, the
Yeah,
perfect answer to this is that this is MMA in a nutshell, right? Like we are crazy people to follow this sport. It's the most
yeah,
crazy sport in the world, right?
yeah,
Anything can happen in the octagon. You see Merab
yeah,
say that openly that it doesn't the best fighter doesn't have to win. Anything can happen in the octagon. And
yeah.
the weird thing is that we've seen a lot of fisticuffs take place inside the bleacher seats and all that. Can you imagine if the baby was involved there? But
Hmm.
kudos to that guy, man. I mean, the baby was all rocked up, right? They had the headphones, noise canceling
Yeah,
headphones, and it's sleeping soundly, and he's screaming and
yeah.
shouting. I think the UFC should have given him a performance of the night bonus, like 25K or something like that. He deserved it, yeah.
I mean, yeah,
That man
but
was insane for that. Why would he bring and that it looked like a newborn baby too.
Yeah, it is. It
yeah,
is.
yeah, it is, it
I,
is. It was a
I think
newborn.
it's 4 weeks at the most
Yeah.
because
Oh
I
my
was blessed with a
God.
child recently also, so I know how old that kid is. Like, oh shit! I saw that and I immediately started testing on the group. Like, who's this? Why has he done this?
Or how
How
crazy that fan was
how did
that
his wife or whoever just clear that because there's
I'm
just
pretty sure his wife didn't
there's
approve of
no
it.
chance
Dude, the guy is
Oh, he
I'm
dead.
must
pretty
have.
sure
Okay.
his wife didn't
bringing
His
a
approve of
wife
it.
baby.
already killed him, I'm sure. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
yeah,
he
Yeah,
stole the baby.
he's no longer
He,
with us.
he stole the baby and came there. No,
He
dude.
has to have because there's no way. I don't care if it's Habib versus Islam in a grudge match with Connor in Islam's corner. There is no chance. I would be there with a newborn baby because you
the baby
don't
got
know
a
what's
free
going to
ticket
happen.
to Alex Pereira.
Yeah,
Think about that, a free show. So yeah, baby's
yeah,
first
free show. Yeah,
outdoor
listen.
experience was UFC 320.
I'm pretty sure that guy must have made
Fuck
like
this
a
kid.
wish or something that please let Alex Pereira win and I'm gonna name this baby Shama or something, Potan or something. That's how dedicated he was. He brought his baby to the fight. That is sick.
Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff.
Dude, what if he becomes an MMA fighter and he's like, hey, I was there. I
Oh,
was
that'll be
Actually,
a
it
there.
was
sick
a
story,
she.
right?
It was a she, no? It was pink,
Oh,
right?
shit.
She was
Oh,
draped in pink. Either way,
oh,
Ronda Rousey or
yeah,
Amanda Nunes. Who
yeah.
knows?
That was crazy, man. And then like what else? There are a lot of crazy stuff. Come on, take us to the next thing of the day, Saeed.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
I wanted to talk about this big thing that everybody is talking about. So we've touched upon Ali Abdelaziz and him getting knocked out.
yeah,
But the UFC, the White House event, Donald Trump said that he wants it to be on his birthday. It's in June 2026,
yeah.
and everybody wants to be a part of it. So the latest one is that Alex Pereira versus John Jones potentially at the White House. What do you guys think? How would this fight fare if it takes place, and why not? Like, I would love to see that. It's a blockbuster fight, right? I think these are the two biggest names currently, apart from Conor. A
Hmm.
heavyweight fight, Pereira trying to be a triple champion. Like, it has all the makings for a blockbuster.
Definitely, it's a crazy fight though. But I just don't get the intent of the fight. Like, what are they fighting for? There's no title in line. I mean, of course, it's a legacy fight for both men. I mean, John Jones can. Now that we were talking about someone testing Alex Pereira's wrestling and takedown defense,
Yeah.
John Jones could be the perfect fighter who can do that, test his takedown defense and everything. So in that sense, the fight does make sense, but I don't see any logic behind that fight. I
So
think
just
Alex Pereira should
sorry,
fight for the third title, and
uh,
that's it.
no. So just
Because
cutting in
yeah, yeah,
regarding the logic part. What I don't like to bring this up, but the intersection of politics and sports, especially in the UFC, has become so crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like, everybody just wants to suck up to the American authorities for some reason. Like, everybody wants to fight on the White House card. We
Yeah.
saw John Silver saying that he wants to fight Max Holloway for the BMF title at the White House. Like, he tweeted that out. That's not going to happen, bro. But
No.
he tweeted it out. And a lot of fighters, and you've seen Connor. So Connor is somebody obviously we'll touch upon. But Connor's been saying for almost what 3-4 months he wants to fight. He said that the negotiations done and
With
everything.
the
So
White House, with Donald
yeah,
Trump,
at the
not even
White
the
House.
UFC.
So it's just that they want to be close, pally with whoever is in charge. And unfortunately, the UFC has its hands with Donald Trump and the president and all the other politicians. So I think that's the only reason why they want to do it.
Look, it might
Yeah.
like John Jones
Honestly,
versus
I
yeah.
don't know if that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's okay, man. Go ahead.
Oh, well, thank you,
Yeah.
gentlemen. I am not in favor of that fight to an extent, right? To an extent, because it would be crazy. It would be definitely an insane fight. But I feel like it's rewarding John Jones for bad behavior
Mm.
because when he was the reigning heavyweight champion, he did not want any part of Tom Aspinall. He did not want to unify the belts at all. And on top of that, instead of just saying, look, I won't fight Tom, I'm just going to fight Stipe and I'll retire, he was teasing the fan base. And then after beating Stipe, because he didn't want to get booed in the arena, which is also why I think he did that silly Trump dance,
Yeah.
So because he wanted a cheap pop, instead of just telling the fans, look, it's my last fight. I feel like age just caught up to me. I don't feel that great anymore. This was my last fight. Instead, he uses the post-fight interview to tease the fans even more. He says, look, if negotiations go well, maybe we'll give you guys what you want. But then, after that, he spends months stringing the UFC along, only to then retire on Twitter, and that's it. Like, I understand that Pereira wants a super fight at heavyweight, but this would be giving John Jones a big payday against a high profile, stylistically favorable opponent. And Pereira could honestly just fight Tom Aspinall because it
Yeah.
would be for the heavyweight title.
Yeah.
You could have the distinction of being the first three division UFC champion ever. And that's something no one would ever be able to take away from him. So I don't know about the John Jones fight, especially because how do you manage that, right? If you're the UFC, John Jones wants to fight on the White House card. Conor McGregor wants to fight on the White House card. Someone has to main event it, and someone has to co-main event it. There is no world where either John Jones or Conor McGregor agrees to be the
Yeah,
co-main event for
Yeah.
anybody.
not a chance
So
in
How do
then
hell.
you
you
even
have
navigate?
no, so it's perfect. Then you have John Jones versus Conor McGregor. Like it's perfect.
Why do you hate Connor so much, Saeed?
The
Do you want
actual
to?
BMF fighter.
I'm just saying, like, people would actually pay to see that, like John Jones taking on Conor McGregor.
And to add to Ricardo's point, I think he made a very, very interesting point.
Yeah,
I think giving John Jones to Alex Pereira, I mean, giving Alex Pereira to John Jones would essentially be handing what John Jones has been doing in the whole negotiation process. He basically said that I don't want to fight Thomas Pinal because it's not a legacy fight. I would rather fight Alex Pereira. So you let your champion wait out all these months. Then he suddenly decided that he wanted to retire. He's been doing all those shenanigans outside the octagon that we are all aware of. And then then he decides that it's time to come back, and he gets to fight the biggest superstar in the sport right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me, except for the stylistical play. That's definitely interesting, but no.
yeah. Even I don't think that's a look. If you're the UFC, if you want to make a shitload of money, maybe this could work because people want to see this fight. But as a real fan, right, as someone who wants to see mixed martial arts unfold in the octagon, this fight doesn't make sense because when you think about it, it would be a known event for John Jones. He would just wrestle him to oblivion. Okay, not gonna. It's not gonna be a competitive fight any stretch of the imagination. I think. Personally. So, don't you want to see a fight, a main event in the White House, to be a competitive slugfest or something, some technical marvel rather than someone just beating on someone else? And why take the shine off Pereira? He's your superstar right now. And John Jones is going to be a one and done thing. So, long term, I don't think it's a smart idea, even. And of course, you can't reward John Jones for, whatever we said. I think it's a crazy idea. Like, not even maybe John Jones versus Tom Aspinall would be a better fight. Let Tom Aspinall finally, do his thing, and nobody will be talking about John Jones. Maybe if he
I don't
loses
think
the
even
fight.
Tom will entertain that idea now. I mean, of course,
Yeah,
the UFC can make him sign that contract and make him
yeah,
fight John Jones if they want to.
yeah,
But I don't think even he's interested in that fight right now. And I think Alex should fight for the third title because he's the closest that we've ever gotten to someone who actually has the potential, the size, the skills, and the timing right to go chase that third title. Because I can't think of anyone
Hmm.
in the past era or in the crop
yeah,
of talent that we have right now who can
yeah.
go achieve that. Not even Islam Makhachev. He can't go and win a middleweight title, I think, in
Too
my
small.
opinion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Too small. So
yeah.
I think Alex Pereira is the only fighter right now who can go achieve that. And Tom Aspinall, Alex Pereira versus Tom Aspinall is an interesting fight in itself.
But
I
Abhishek,
think it is a
can
pretty
I ask
interesting
you?
fight.
Oh, go ahead, man. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think it's a very interesting fight
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
Tom Aspinall does have he's not a wrestler like that. He has a very explosive double leg.
yeah,
He'll throw the 1-2 to get you to square your hips so that you can counter him, and then he'll duck under it. but he's not, he's not a chain wrestler. He's not going to get like an inside trip from an over under in the clinch or anything like that. But I think obviously he's the favorite if that fight happens. He's just
Yeah,
the bigger
big time.
man. He's very powerful. He's more well rounded. But I do think that Alex Pereira could win because Aspinall has a really bad habit of just keeping his chin so exposed. He
Yes.
gets caught by almost everybody that he fights. It's just that his chin is so good that it doesn't matter. But can you afford to do that against Pereira, who will also be coming up a weight class? So he'll be the faster man,
Hmm.
and Aspinall is used to being faster than everybody.
Yeah.
So is that something that could lead to an issue? I don't know. It's a more compelling fight than John Jones is just gonna stay on the outside, push kick to the knee, oblique kick, body kick, and then duck under, get a takedown that I don't think Pereira could defend. And then once you have John Jones on top of you, I think
Yeah,
that's a
that's
wrap for
right.
Pereira
Yeah.
at least.
Let me ask you guys one thing though. Let's say Pereira fights John Jones or Tom Aspinall, either of them. Now keep in mind, Pereira is a big middleweight, a comparatively big light heavyweight, but he's a small heavyweight when compared to like Tom Aspinall and the bigger, larger heavyweights. And he can be knocked out, Pereira. We have seen that. And
Yeah.
so there was a post where Tom Aspinall said, like, the moment the bell rings, I'm going to rugby tackle him to the ground. Right. So chances are, of course, you have to, if you want greatness, you have to take risks. But still, chances are, technically, most likely, Pereira is going to lose the fight, maybe. So, and that takes the shine out of a fighter, once you, at least the superstars, like once you lose badly, maybe you're not that marketable anymore unless it's a grudge match. And I think Pereira has a good 3 or 4 fights remaining, maybe 3 fights, 4 is maybe stretching it. Do you want to do that in the UFC White House? Because there are events after that too. You have to like look at the big picture. Do you really want to risk him at heavyweight? Even Dana said like he used to fight at middleweight. So, is that the right move, people? Or am I
It's the
just
White
crazy for
House.
thinking about this?
No, it's the White House. No, you're right, but
Yeah.
it's the White House. This is a once in a lifetime event. I don't think any other US president will allow this if Donald Trump goes out of power or whatever. Like, can you imagine
Yeah.
you're on the White House, you're on the White House lawn, and you're fighting against possibly one of the greatest, John Jones, or it's Tom Aspinall, for a title to be a a 3 division champion? Why would you not take that risk? You have the chance to be possibly the greatest MMA fighter ever. Like, obviously, with risk comes reward.
Yeah, of
So
course.
take that risk, man. And I don't really understand this logic of a loss taking the sheen of your championships or your achievements. A
Yeah.
loss is a loss. Stuff happens,
True.
and
This is not boxing. I get that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and this is one thing. So I would say I'm a little better than a casual MMA fan because I followed it for a few more years.
Yeah.
And I can easily say that this is the most exciting and most unpredictable sport in the world because you genuinely cannot expect or predict anything that's going to happen. You just can't. Like, I know if Liverpool play a bottom club from the Premier League 99 out of 100 times, they'll win.
Yeah.
I know that. But in MMA, anything can happen. So I don't think a loss is that big of a deal. And yeah, I think Alex Pereira should go for it.
Because
Become the big name.
Pantoja defeated, knocked out Islam, right?
Yeah, I know. So there are examples like it's Asakura, right, who came from
Yeah.
one of the Japanese promotions, and they picked him up
Brazil,
and
yeah.
they gave him a title shot in his first outing, and he's
Yeah.
lost both his all 3 fights or both his fights in the UFC since then. So we've seen Bellator guys come up, and they're supposed to be so great and all, but
Yeah.
they've not been that great. So I think just go for it, man. If it's Aspinall, just go for it. Sorry, if it's Pereira, go for it. Be that big name. Try to become the Conor McGregor of this generation, I would say. Yeah, go for it, man. Go.
And by the way, Tom
I think it wouldn't
Aspinall
take-
and Pereira is not happening. It has to be an American against some other guy, right? Like at least the main event.
So Pereira can take American citizenship, not a problem. There's
Yeah, because we have to look at someone that the Americans would root for. And
Yeah.
Alex is like the closest name that I can think of.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
$2 million. This is amazing.
Hey, I think, yeah, cool. I think
Yeah, we
my
lost you there for a
lost
second.
you a little bit. We lost the punchline. Say that again.
Oh, you lost.
Yeah.
You want to receive $50 million. Like, that's going to be amazing.
Oh, still lost the punchline.
Again,
It's not meant to be.
I think I think there's something wrong with your audio.
can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
now
we can hear you
perfect. I
loud
think it
and
was
clear.
too far away. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
strange. Can you hear me now properly?
Yeah. Now it's better. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Very weird. Strange.
All right. So what else? What else? We had quite a lot. Okay. So do you think Aunt Kalave tweeted his own stuff? I mean, come on.
100% no.
No chance.
You guys saw the tweet,
No.
right?
No,
You guys saw the tweet,
in
right?
no universe did he tweet his own stuff. He
Who
doesn't
tweets
speak
that?
English unless he's using Google Translate. It's obviously Ali. It's obviously Ali Abdelaziz. You guys remember not that long ago
Yeah.
when we were supposed to get the rematch between Islam and Charles Oliveira,
Yeah.
and Ali Abdelaziz forgot to switch accounts, so he replied as Islam Makhachev on his own account to a quote from Charles Oliveira's coach. So it's him. I think the only accounts he doesn't control are maybe Cejudo's, Usman, because Cejudo does talk his own trash as the
Yeah.
king of cringe, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the guy's Islam and Ankalaev. Ankalaev, up until the Pereira fight, was, he was just a guy on the
Yeah.
roster.
Yeah.
Good fighter. I'm not trying to disrespect his skills, but he wasn't a personality. And then suddenly he's talking trash, just like Islam Makhachev on Twitter, just like every other. Like they all talk trash the same way, all of them. It's Ali. It's Ali Abdelaziz.
And the sad
And I
part,
think
I
at
think
least,
it's hurting the more. I think it's hurting the more.
oh,
Just
definitely.
yeah.
I think at least with Islam and Habib, what I've noticed is he wasn't able to sort of big bully manage them.
Yeah.
That this is the kind of stuff that you need to put out because they also learned how to speak English and promote themselves better than all these other fighters. But with fighters like Ankalaev and everyone, I think it tries to push the buttons. And the one thing that I don't, I think I share the same disdain that Sayed has for Connor. I have the same disdain for Ali Abdelaziz. I can't stand the guy. I just can't stand the guy, and I'll tell you why. Because he has this morals and principles that you can't talk about religion, you can't talk about family and stuff like that. And it's a very subjective thing. So for today, if someone says something about my religion or something like that, that doesn't offend me. But if someone talks about my trauma or something like bad habit that I had in the past and I got out of it, like for example with Alex Pereira, the whole tire shop joke that he made, and about his alcoholism and about his tribe, those are the type of stuff that affects someone like Alex Pereira. So you can't fit someone into one bill that this are the type of things that you can't talk about, like religion and personal life and everything, and keep taking shots at things that actually bothers people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's a great manager to have. He's a solid manager to have for the opportunities that he's created for his fighters, but he needs to calm down a little bit.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that
did
is
you say
true.
that I have disdain for Conor McGregor?
I think so.
No, nothing like that, bro. Like he was one reason why I got into following MMA. It's
Yeah.
not that, but it's just that I think this is the perfect segue into the corner discussion that we need to have.
Yeah.
Is that like I liked Conor McGregor. Like when he was fighting Jose Aldo during that era, right? Like he was crazy. He was good on the mic. He used to say the right things. He knew how to push the buttons, as you said, and he used to perform and back it up in the octagon. But now he's not that person, and I don't know what is his this obsession that he has that I need to get back to fighting. I have to fight. I will fight. I think the last 2 3 weeks he's been saying I'll fight Mike Perry or Jeremy Stephens in BKFC. I
Yeah,
want to
right.
fight in BKFC. I want to fight in UFC. I'll do boxing. I just feel that there is a time when he's done enough. He's made enough money. He's a huge name as it is. Just let it be, man. Let it go. You have so many businesses. Why do you need to do this? Become a promoter. Be a Eddie Hearn. Be a Dana White. You don't need to do this fighting thing. And I want to know your thoughts, guys. That is there any chance at all of Conor McGregor fighting again, or even at the White House card? That's my question.
I'm a hopeless romantic when it comes to Connor. Every time it teases that he is going to come back, I completely believe that he is going to come back. And it just disappoints me every single time. And to add to your point about
Even after all
why
these
he,
years, Abhishek. Even after all these
even after all these years, man, I mean, Connor is Connor, no matter what. So, this thing that you said about he can just simply stop fighting and everything. I think the way I equate MMA or combat sports, if you had to equate it to an entertainment sort of stream, you have actors, you have singers, and you have all these different fields. But if you have to equate fighting to entertainment, that's like stand-up comedy. So the high that you get while you're fighting. So even if you have ever trained in MMA or if you have trained any martial arts, the moment you start training martial arts and you then go to a gym or do something else, the high that you get from that, you can't replace it. The wins, I mean, it's just very infectious and it's just very toxic. And like Nick Diaz said, you have to love it so much that you hate it. And I think it's the same thing with Connor that he wants to get back just for the high of it, but he's burned down a lot of bridges.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I do think that there's something to be said. The guy hasn't fought in almost 5 years, but he keeps talking about, I'm coming back, greatest comeback ever. I want to fight in BKFC. I'm gonna be a boxing world champion one day. Let's fight at welterweight. Bilal Muhammad's woeful. He's terrible. I I don't believe him. I don't think he's ever fighting ever again. I think with Connor, it's that he just can't stand that he's not the center of attention anymore.
Yep.
Because even before he was talking about coming back, anytime there would be a big card and somebody got a crazy knockout or a nice submission or a good win, he was immediately on Twitter with backhanded compliments. Like, oh yeah, that was great, but that's still not as fast a knockout as the one I got against Jose Aldo. So he would say things like that. And I think it's because he knows that he's the most famous fighter ever, in MMA at least. He's the biggest star the sport has ever had by a crazy margin. And he does not like that the sport is passing him by, that people are now moving forward. They're moving on. It's not to say that if he doesn't come back, he's not going to sell more pay-per-views than anybody else. It's just that we don't need Conor McGregor anymore, and I don't think he likes that. That's why he's always on Twitter whenever somebody gets a big win, saying something. Maybe one day he'll come back. I don't think so. He's almost 40,
Yeah,
so he has all the money in
36.
the world. I agree. He could just maybe just be a promoter. Tend to your businesses. Stop being crazy. So yeah, stop getting in trouble with the law. Just tend to your family.
Yeah.
Relax. You've worked for it.
You know what I think? I mean, this might be a bit controversial, but I think, the best athletes, the greatest athletes, or like the most famous ones, are always a little bit narcissistic, right? You have to be that successful, I think. And I think Conor is too narcissistic to let this chance go. So if we can, I think, I feel crazy saying this, but if Dana White lets him, I think he might fight at the White House, man. If Dana White lets him, will he win? Will he train for it? That's debatable. Probably not. But he might fight. And Michael Chandler, he's not at the level he used to be at a couple of years ago. So maybe that could be a fight, but it can't be a main event. That is the problem. So where would he fight? Where would he fight? And the other thing about retiring. So I think it was DC who said this about Jon Jones, because during the time Jon Jones was contemplating retirement, and then he was not. The whole thing was going on, right? And he was saying like the opportunities, right? The seminars, the campaigns, all those things. They come when you are the champion, when you have the belt. After that, it slowly wanes away. So maybe Conor is, I mean, he's financially set and all, but he's afraid of the spotlight just, passing him by, and he don't want to do that. So if I think he might do it, man, just because of his pride, he might end up fighting at the UFC White House and probably maybe have a tough night out and then call it a day. Maybe. I think that's what I think. Might be wrong, but one can hope, I think.
Hope against hope, despair against despair.
Yeah.
And to wrap it up, I think Abhishek's logged off. Think something happened,
Yeah.
but I just wanted to. Oh, he's back. Perfect.
He's back.
So
Yeah.
the last talking point I wanted to discuss before we wrap up this episode is since we're talking about Connor returning, I
Yeah.
want to know your thoughts about one of my first memories. As I said, Ronda Rousey has apparently said she wants to return, or is at least training for a fight. What do you guys think? Does women's MMA need Rousey to return? Because we've seen Amanda Leona saying that Amanda Nunes saying she wants to return. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I don't know. I don't know if it's such a good idea. I'll tell you why.
She
Because
looks good. She looks good in those training footages, but yeah, I think
yeah,
she should just
because
clear
Again,
it.
a hopeless romantic Abhishek.
still hoping. No, the thing is, I think women's MMA has evolved so much after she left. I don't think she would be successful, and I think she would have a better image overall, or the legendary status would be compromised if she comes back. Like right now, we have this image of her, like the pioneer, the legend. I think that's good enough. She did what she had to do. She made the sport a household name. She was the biggest star of the sport at one point. Got some really good wins against some really good people. Kat Zingano, Misha Tate, all those people. So she is a great fighter. So be the great fighter in everyone's mind. Don't come back and get absolutely dominated. So that's what I think. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think she
Yeah,
doesn't.
I
I mean,
agree.
there's no reason for her to return. Yeah.
There's no reason, yeah, because the sport has evolved a lot, and Ronda Rousey lost both times because she only has linear movement and no ability to cut off the cage, no head movement, doesn't move her head off the center line when she throws punches, and you can't just if you just run into someone's punches, the opponent does not have to throw hard to knock you out. If I'm Holly Holm, I'll just do exactly what she did. I just stick my fist in front of her because she's gonna run into it. And I don't think you can afford to make those kinds of mistakes anymore because any coach worth their salt will immediately pick up on those bad habits and just say, okay, look, we know what Ronda's gonna do. She's gonna rush forward. Just stick your fist in front of her. She'll run into it. You don't have to throw hard. If she gets you in the clinch, just tuck your elbows in, drop your hips below hers so that she can't get a throw. That's it. Just do that. I don't think it would be good. It would be a good look because it's like Ujwal said. She is a pioneer. She's a legend. And if she comes back and then she loses, it's gonna start to look more like BJ Penn, stuck around for too
Yeah.
long. And like people who never watched BJ Penn in his prime will look at his record now and go, who's this guy? What's the big deal? They'll look at Tony Ferguson and they'll look at his record. They'll go, oh, what's the big deal? Why do people speak so highly of him? He just loses all the time because they don't have that memory that we all had when he was on a tear, scariest fighter on the roster. Can Habib beat him or this or that? But because he stuck around for too long, now you look at his record and you go, oh, it's not that great. And, it'd be a shame if that happened to Ronda because she left at the right time. If she comes back and loses again, and then it's like, who does she fight if she comes back? If she loses to someone who's not a champion, it's one thing to lose to Holly Holm when Holly Holm was undefeated and everybody thought she was the next big thing. It's one thing to lose to Amanda Nunes, the GOAT. But then if you come back and I don't know, she fights Juliana Pena, and if she loses, that's awful, No no disrespect to Juliana Pena, but that's not a fighter that Ronda Rousey should be losing to. That's not a name you want on your record that says that you lost to. So she should just relax. I don't know if it's a money thing because she's not a wrestler anymore either.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a money thing, but I think just stay away from the sport.
I can see Saeed's heart breaking real time.
No, not really. It's fine. It's
Not
cool.
really.
I just want more talking points. If he decides to come back, then we'll have a lot more to talk about. But I
True.
think that's the perfect way to end the first
Yeah.
podcast of the TaporSnap.
Yep.
Thanks to Ujwal, Abhishek, and Ricardo for taking time out.
Yep.
And yeah, do like, share, and subscribe to our content. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Bye bye.
Yo.
Okay.